Welcome everybody to Pizza Garden Podcasts. This is the extra large macroeconomics Pizza Garden show. Welcome everybody today. Today is May 26th, 2019. Memorial Day is tomorrow. Today is Sunday. I want to wish everybody a happy Memorial Day. Before I get started on this podcast, I would just like everybody to know that this is not licensed investment advice. I am not yet a licensed professional. I will let everybody know on Twitter when I do get my licenses. However, until then, this is not investment advice. Please do your research elsewhere. Have yourself a wonderful time doing it, and please do not let this scare you too much. I will admit I am a stock market bear. I've been bearish before Trump was elected, during the Obama presidency, and it has scared me out of the market. This being said, I would like to get into my reflection for the month of May for the US stock market on the macroeconomic level. Now, the broader averages all finished lower over the month of May. The Dow Jones Industrials, S&P 500, NASDAQ, Russell 2000. And the volatility was just absolutely incredible. If you will recall, on May 3rd was the official escalation of the US trade tariffs on China from 10 to 25% on $325 billion worth of American goods. This proving to be the pivot point on any chart for the broader averages in regards to the health of the US economy. And an economy based on Trump tweets and trade war headlines, this was certainly not good news for the economy. Now, this was falling from highs that were reached during Q1 of 2019 in the broader averages. And we went up and hit new highs back in December of 2018 and fell from there. So, looking at a chart on a technical basis, we are all below the 200-day moving averages as of now from the highs that were hit earlier in the month. We are also almost near the lows of the crash during Q4 2018. This is extremely bearish for the US stock market. Multiple times in Q1 as well as Q2 in 2019, the Federal Reserve has declined to hike interest rates. Now, a lot of markets have been pricing in rate cuts from the Federal Reserve, as the Powell pivot point has also been seen with the coming volatility in the stock market. The VIX has been all over the place in the month of May, constantly above 15. There is a lot of debt servicing, stock buybacks that are happening in order to make these values seem the way they are. Now, I think that we are going to have an interest rate cut. However, by the time that rates do get cut, I think things are going to be a lot worse than where they are. And the markets are going to get a much bigger cut than what was expected. Now, the numbers that we have seen publicly include 25 to 50 basis points from Federal Reserve Chairmen such as Richard Clarida and Jay Powell, However, Donald Trump on Twitter has been calling for a 100 basis point rate cut, 1 full %, and an immediate return to quantitative easing instead of ending quantitative tightening by the end of the summer. Now, if we have such a strong economy, or so we're told, then interest rates being at 2.25%, 2.5% are killing the economy. We have more cash than what is valued, supposedly, and we're losing 2% of our purchasing power every year. So why aren't interest rates back up to 4 or 5% if we had this 10-year bull market? Except it's not. Except what we really aren't being told is that these 2.5% interest rates are hemorrhaging debt servicing costs to corporations, to universities, and to the average daily consumer, as well as the federal government. We have seen a huge spike in the national debt, $1.2 trillion in 2018, with the reported budget deficit, of between $700 and $800 billion in 2018. We could be deficiting $1 trillion very, very soon. And that doesn't include all of the unfunded liabilities, government pensions, pension programs, debt servicing that does include. It doesn't include the contingent spending that the United States takes on, domestic and foreign aid. And it's just to really look at how much money the United States is spending a year. Take a look at the budget deficit. In the month of May, we got the numbers for housing. We got new housing starts. We got all the housing data. We have all the auto data. We have all the credit data. And we are losing. We are losing. We're losers. We cannot take on less debt for the lives of us. We are an economy built on consumption and debt servicing. And the more we continue to do that, the better our economy looks. But here's the thing. Have you ever run into an old friend in the supermarket after high school and you see him, 5, 10 years later, and they say, "Oh, I'm doing well. I just took out a second mortgage on my house. I had to refinance my car loan and consolidate it with my student loans to get a better interest rate on the two. I maxed out 3 credit cards and I just applied for a 4th. I'm doing well." But if you say you look at yourself and you've been sticking to a monthly budget and you've been spending less than what you're taking in, and you've paid for your car in cash. You don't have any credit cards. The only piece of plastic you have maybe a Harkins gift card, a AMC gift card, a debit card, bank card, and a rewards card from some hotel club that gives you points every night you stay because you put it on your debit card. You're gonna pay off your house in 7 years. What sounds better to you? This being said, why should we look at the United States economy that is hemorrhaging money day in and day out, week in and week out, month in and month out, bill in and bill out? Why are we hemorrhaging money? It is completely immoral and illogical. And if I could call it abuse on the everyday taxpayer, so help me, I would. Donald Trump unveiled a plan to combat the China tariffs on U.S. agricultural products by saying there would be $15 billion spent to purchase these agricultural products. And what Donald Trump would do was he would give these purchased products, now owned by the taxpayer, the federal government rather, and he would give them to poorer countries. Now, poorer countries, what they're going to do, they're just going to turn around and sell the food to China. And China's going to buy it at a lower price from poorer countries than they'd get it from the United States. This is dumb. There's no other way that I could see them going about this. I mean, even if they were to consume the food, that would still be less money that they'd be given in the United States, even if they had to buy more food from them. That would tank the entire global economy because poor countries aren't needing to buy food. What do you think they'd spend this money elsewhere? No, they're poor. They're poor for a reason. Most of these poor countries don't have freedoms. I'm sorry. They just don't. And that's why they're poor. They have poor economics, poor politics. And usually if you only have one, you don't have the other. But these countries don't have either. What's the benefit of giving a heroin addict more heroin if it only stops them from overdosing or withdrawing, but it's eventually going to overdose them? And that's exactly what the Federal Reserve is going to do for the American economy in 2019, 2020, 2021. We're getting more cheap monetary heroin, and it is going to kill us.